Anymere odum ne mobro huna ifri wotumfo nyankopon enka obabi biara o biara yada radia sempempen so a wode yen adru na January 4 brother the year na she afefofro ase ama enedai yeda so ewo nkwa Megidi se woni wabusunyafo nyina ehon eye dai me no ye twaye njumede ya to din say Akenkansem night of Bible reading ye to Akenkansem this Enra me no ye kenkan ewo Leviticus chapter 1 edibesi chapter 4 and you may have to ask Leviticus chapter 5. Leviticus chapter 5. Akenkansem Jumedino Leviticus chapter 5 from verse 1. Meno ye kenkan free New Living Translation NLT nemo and a ye kenkan free Leviticus chapter 5 verse 1. And why you can kind free chapter 1 you know affordable ahodwa. Especially my Israel for say on ye. You declare you who you know or see a burnt offering. No Leviticus chapter 1. But Leviticus chapter 2 and a grain offering. grain offering. About chapter 3. And now or try say a peace offering. Now Yesuya say peace offering, any burnt offering, a sekakra. Now so ya kesia edem any say. Ye burnt offering no abua na wode ne beba for de e wo say oye abua bema. Then so peace offering a yasumdwe afode no de. Ubetumi de aboa oye oba ana oye bema abo. And Leviticus chapter 4, you whom the sin offering, bone home affordable. No bone home affordable or chichem Emma Yehun say also for penino mu eye bonia said your own simona for the emfa. And I said Israel my money na eye bonia said your oma for the enumfa. Say Israel on my name for the elders or leaders of the community. Say omo bin so eye boniti amransem dunimu bia said your onon so emmo afodiemfa. We and Ochre said the ordinary person, the ordinary man. The mamuni bia owo Israel so non so ye boni said ye onon so ensre ne boni emfa. And you may know ye twaso ewo Leviticus chapter 5. Now Leviticus chapter 5 no obetre boni ahoduo bia e wo se osre ho bonifache. Enti ehunu say chapter 4 and chapter 5 bin na no kasa about the sin offering. Sin offering. So let's move on. Leviticus chapter 5 verse 1. If you are called to testify about something you have seen or that you know about, it is sinful to refuse to testify, and you will be punished for your sin. Enti die di kan niema eye bone ye wo se enipa ekọ ho enchewo pa ne ho for the bono ne se bibi esi na wuhunu na ye fra wo se bedi ho adanse na se wo se o ma medi adanse a Erade se eye bone ya e wo se odi nantwie ana odwan ekọ pata obone no. Then they say asemu si na udi adanse na udi wani humbia. Erade hwehwe wo se edu ho asem ka obeba bedi adanse se ne ohun ye pepepe. Se wan kwam kodi adanse no a eye bone a e wo se ye twa so. Verse 2, Leviticus 5:2. Or suppose you knowingly touch something that is ceremonially unclean, such as the carcass of an unclean animal. When you realize what you have done, you must admit your defilement and your guilt. This is true whether it is a wild animal, a domestic animal, or an animal that carries along the ground. Or say wonni mumpo na wo de wo ho koka aboa bi a ne ho agu fi won se Awurade kire Israelfo emoa bi a eni kwan se owie emoa bi a eni kwan se wo de won saka aboa wawu deda ukodi a okan se etiamra na no de mra ne ema Moses no it was say wani ena wo so wonni mumpo na wo de won sakoka aboa wawu a actually wadwene ba ho se eyi me de me sakoka aboa wawu a wo se okobone ho bonifache na okobobone ne ho afode or suppose you unknowingly touch something that makes a person unclean. When you realize what you have done, you must admit your guilt. Enti ose se wani anasumpo na odo ho ka bibia ebema wo ho ayefia. And so in this case no enye aboa nko a enye aboa wawu nko a na mo bibi biara Awurade yi se eni kwan se omode wo monsa eka bia se wani na wo ho so na wo de ho ka krampo na Awurade se waye bone nti oso de bone ho afore bode eba ebe patama wo bone Verse 4, Leviticus chapter 5, verse 4, or say, or suppose you make a foolish vow of any kind, whether its purpose is for good or for bad. When you realize its foolishness, you must admit your guilt. Ose se wo koshe nkwase aboshe se boshe no eye papa ana eye bone nipa hosna so no se wadi nkwase ase no a ose e wo se wo pe aboa na wo kobo bone ho afode e de pata e ma bone. Verse 5, when you become aware of your guilt in any of these ways, you must confess your sin. Then you must bring to the Lord as the penalty for your sin a female from the flock, either a sheep or a goat. This is a sin offering with which the priest will purify you from your sin, making you right with the Lord. But if you cannot afford to bring a sheep, you may bring to the Lord 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons as the penalty for your sin. One of the bears will be for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. You must bring them to the priest, who will present the first bird as the sin offering. He will wring its neck, but without severing its head from the body. Enti se wo de sa no mane ba na osofopani no abua no mane kom nanso ontia no mane tim free so. Then he will sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering against the sides of the altar, and the rest of the blood will be drained out at the base of the altar. This is an offering for sin. The priest will then prepare the second bird as a burnt offering, following all the procedures that have been prescribed. Through this process, the priest will purify you from your sin, making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. Edi so kodia dance krumu ya frose be dia dance ya osemema wodi wonsa ana ho ka aboa wawuo wodo se wani na wo so na wo koye bibia egu ho fia e wo se wo kobo afure na se unya ponche ba ko mfe nkwa kofa abro no ma mienu na abuburo mienu na hwe ehon instructions da ho wo waye wo bone no e wo se sofopani no efa aboa no de odi ka no obu ni kom ontini mfiri so na moja no a eba no odi bia peti afori buchia ne ho na odi moja ne bia kogu afori buchia no ase owia na odi no ato nche na wasan afa anoma na otoso mienu no na eno so odi akọ ohye afori buchia ne so na wakokum aboa no wo so na wahye aboa no wo so na wachire se oya saa boni we bi na se wonni ska de beto aponche a eye enoma mienu so assuming say why saa boni na ahodo mienu ahodo miensa e was so multiply no by 2 na wo de homwa e de aba bo afode oh yesu ya dawase na apostle Oko Hackman ekasi yesu moja nko a na timi horo ye mbone Yes, moja esumo aforibody a Yesu Kristo moja hwie ngu amamenu mienu a ye bone e wosanke ye chimponchi bi ye chi anka ye chen of confirm from some mo ye na ntwi so no ye chen fulani fo enti wutina se hwe bone dodo a waye no wakan ho mponchi ne diwachi wakan ho abuburo ene ho abro no ma na ekitawo na wo kan ponchi ajo ho binyina ne se waye bone ntu de sam ponchi no ekopata aba wo bone nansu enhran kan rade nyankopon a wonam ne doba Yesu Kristo so de yam bone acheye wode Yesu moja apata ba yam bone prekope enti se yam fam ponchi ni muburo ni yachibie o osenia oye bone na woje tum na opai mu kane mfom so no Ewurade de betche no hallelujah wanye so amen Yesu wajanko Estebedu Cecilia Fache Janet Kakari na minshla musema Johnny enyumre na menuaba efia adomone mami efia ne te say Germany boko de ompa yese wade nhwa woni ebusuane nyina so ewo ho wate papa no ne mo frɛ ne nyina Mama Esther Amoa na me won shana se won so wa Johnny Entinia ye kenkan ye Exodus chapter 5. Ye twas of verse 11. Every verse 1 eba na wachre bone ahodo a was the nipa no eba besre ho bone fache. Na oba wode won affordable eba. Na wachre sa afode no abo a wobetumi na bo eye aponche. Aponche ba na wodwan ba. Wuni ska wode beto aponche ni wodwan afa abro no ma mienu na abuburo mienu bra yanto aso se wonni sika obeto abro no ma na abuburo ade be bio na betumi dia ba ai adofo se ne Yesu Kristo pa moja ye mu bi sabre nka enka obone no because obone oye no in multiples enti nka baton punch na fina usika nyina sa unya sika na wodi akọ enti nka omomo ewo sika no ebekoso aye bone so benya sika dia akota punch na me ne umienu a ahia ye ni ye me umienu a sika ni ho ye me umienu adama emotro ho ye enka ye ndi enka ye bone bi ku ye Verse 11, Leviticus chapter 5 verse 11. If you cannot afford to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, you may bring 2 quarts of choice flour for your sin offering. Since it is an offering for sin, you must not moisten it with olive oil or put frankincense on it. Take the flour to the priest, who will scoop out a handful as a representative portion. He will burn it on the altar on top of the special gates presented to the Lord. It is an offering for sin. Through this process, the priest will purify those who are guilty of any of these sins, making them right with the Lord, and they will be forgiven. The rest of the flour will belong to the priest, just as with the grain offering. Yemra verse 14, Leviticus chapter 5 verse 14. Also another type of offering, and a guilt offering. Now there is difference between the sin offering and the guilt offering. Sin offering, the way you born I realize is that why you born in why was a and a guilt offering a fobu. Affordable. No one say why you born in a boo for said the why you know a bonny your boo for the non so sabo one for the a patch. And to what committee say no and no one for the and a yabua will say the way and woody for no and also one for the was verse 14. Leviticus chapter 5. Then the Lord said to Moses, if one of you commits a sin by unintentionally defiling the Lord's sacred property, you must bring a guilt offering to the Lord. The offering must be your own ram with no defect, or you may buy one of equal value with silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. You must make restitution for the sacred property you have harmed by paying for the loss, plus an additional 20%. What say nyame ejapade na what say obi ejapade no? What say ode ho bone afobuo ho aforebo ebeba. Nanso ansa na ode sa aforebo ne beba no. Sa ade na what say no no kotuaka. Na say fa ho ensi ho 20% eka ho. Netia ni panika anetia nyameka wi ansa no ba besre bonifache etia fa ne say yakwa sorry dem ana yes sasa na collection bowl no ye glass ana wo kopim na ehwe form na a boy enam say eye nyame agapade na wasai no nti e wo say oba na obebo afode eye for guilt offering. Na answer na ode sa guilt offering no beba no. E was say wo kotua sa collection bowl no eka. Ma ye tofoforo. Na wo say tua ho interest 20%. Answer na was say akoche wa wo ram wa unyambuo mu odwan bema. Na was say de na bebo afode e de asere wo bone fache wo urade enim. Zadie we said that so ho besi na nkek nipa do do stand ye betumi adi so ye betumi aye. Who say obi agapade a ehona no atua ne ka. Now the interest I can't hold. And son, I was saying, I could cheat a punchy, and I would join a kunyamianim as I could celebrate. And no self and self restitution. And no near the Baku Christo for you, Buya Niguso. Christo ni bonnet or some manume home, Panya Mitchell. Now, O Panya Mitchell, Uniana, we are bonnet, no dear Ben Alco Catreno. It is very, very, very important. So we are bonitia will be now for when he bounces at the Maya a bonia. Oh, consider Rade Bonifacia Dinka call me and Hokata Seminia, Adiami here when Mania Banus Mamusa Man in the Missile Fatchame. Some bonina we are Yanoma a cabby eberton so could Tiasa a caneman. It's not considered Bonifacio Radio. Also, you must make restitution for the sacred property you have harmed by paying for the loss plus an additional 20%. When you give the payment to the priest, he will purify you with the ram sacrifice as a guilt offering, making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. Suppose you sin by violating one of the Lord's commands, even if you are unaware of what you have done, you are guilty and will be punished for your sin. For a guilt offering, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. Through this process, the priest will purify you from your unintentional sin, making you right with the Lord, and you will be forgiven. This is a guilt offering, for you have been guilty of an offense against the Lord. And take note, or say this is unintentional. Enti boni a waye ana wani enna sono wani enni wo hosono eno ho facheni ma yentoa so ya Akenkansem chapter 5 awie yenkọ Leviticus chapter 6. Leviticus chapter 6 from verse 1. Dunia ba vidash ajiwa me baida nyame wo nshira wate woni ebusua ne nyina. Leviticus chapter 6 from verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, suppose one of you sins against your associate and is unfaithful to the Lord. Suppose you cheat in a deal involving a security deposit, or you steal or commit fraud, or you find lost property and lie about it, or you lie while swearing to tell the truth, or you commit any other such sins. If you have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. Enti se ubu ni akalabule okofa asase di na wa hwehwe ni uramfa nkoma no uwia obi ade ana udifrode obi ana ukodi adanse na se ukotwa ntro wa danse die ni mu a Or say, where the fuck will Radiani? Yeah, and what's a okopa home chill? Now, boss for the verse 4, it says, if you have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. You must give back whatever you stole, or the money you took by extortion, or the security deposit, or the lost property you found, or anything obtained by swearing falsely. You must make restitution by paying the full price plus an additional 20% to the person you have harmed. On the same day, you must present a guilt offering. And no enema Zacchaeus. Obekaya bra Yesu etwema Zacchaeus ekofru edua. Bible says na Zacchaeus a tax collector. Yesu ka kire Zacchaeus say ene wo fie na metena enkwaje aba wo fie. Ana Yesu call Zacchaeus fie. Bible says bra omo tie di bibia omo edidi no. Ana Zacchaeus kase. Seminam enkontom poso agi obi adea. Sa sema Zacchaeus ekaye no. The source and I made sure Leviticus chapter 6. The entire man Zacchaeus ekasa. Cause Zacchaeus enim say what Jew for adi yemu no. Say ubu obi kwasia na say ojine japadia. When you bow house na say enkwaje ba wanimu a. E wo say ukotuaka. Enti Zacchaeus say me de kontompo agi obi japadia. Me bo ho e di mano. Enti sa dia na Zacchaeus eye no. Na eye ne bone na fobuo ho bone ho aforebo na obo Yesu anim. If you say Yesu na ye osofo pani sa abre na waba. Tina Zacchaeus kase se me na mun kontom poso adi obi bibia me bohon e de man. Enti for Zacchaeus could say I will pay more than the 20%. Me bohon just se me double. Verse 6, Leviticus chapter 6 verse 6. As a guilt offering to the Lord, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects. Or you may buy one of equal value. Through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord, making you right with him. And you will be forgiven for any of these sins you have committed. Yanko verse 8. Leviticus chapter 6 verse 8. And also one of the favorite scriptures ever. Keep the fire burning. Verse 8 in way. Leviticus 6 8. Then the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the burnt offering. The burnt offering must be kept on the top of the altar until the next morning. And the burnt offering now would be said the first offering here was the Nipan Ebo. And now all children choir on faso emmono. And when all children are soft one say, the obedient the burnt offering eba, the choir on faso emmo afodieno. Leviticus chapter 6 verse 8 or say, then the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the burnt offering. The burnt offering must be left on top of the altar until the next morning. And the fire on the altar must be kept burning all night. In the morning, after the priest on duty has put on his official linen clothing and linen undergarments, he must clean out the ashes of the burnt offering and put them beside the altar. And he burnt offering no altar so and I boss out for the yeshino. And also say almost the burnt offering about munya abuane wasuma on shisama at the ancient. Adia Aaron and Mana omoye asofo. Omon sies your mona amon fa o masofo ntade enhye. Na omon ko afori buchia ne so. Omon kodu ade omon nya ne se. Ensu na ewo ojanimu no afori buchia no ejanimu no. Omun tu ensu ni nyina emfiri no omun famu afori buchia no enchen. Enti ayese Ghana kane no ana stove no mu emaye no na ye soja ewo buchia so ye de a enotie netikoko eye ne wabone miensa saa wa kusitire na mienu sinanim saa asemo ya me pa no apen entwoma na ade akwa ho kokokokoko emusuon kan na wankwa buchia ho emusuon kan na wasori ya me pa wankwa buchia da ho ana e wanwo se buchia ne yankwa ho yentimi enua mu enua so di osadi eyo nanso adinya o na dia che wasori wankwa buchia ne ho no go to hoko school beba oh, hallelujah ameba da wakai wa hu ameba da mejiri se wo ye twa ukoto obuchi a wankwa ho da ana bia wo de wo tena East Lagos enti wa hu buchi a wa hu ayasemo enti ose anopano sofo no enkotu enso no emfrim muchia nim na onfamu afori buchia no enchen. Verse 11, then he must take off these garments, change back into his regular clothes, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a place that is ceremonially clean. Enti ode asofotade no ebeye adwuma wo afori buchia no na watu enso no nanso owie na okoto enso no agua ontumi mfa asofotade no enhye enko ewo se osesa ne ho na ohye ono a ne fie atade when say radical chere asofo ne say sa asofotade na ode ma wo mo no eye asode dem ho nko a ene wo so mo de ye adwuma Ele sa wonya adwuma ewo asore dem ho no mo a wonhye ato asofotade no enti ebra oyi nso wo altar ne so ne de ekoya sore dem wontie wo se wo hye sofotade na amanyame atumi identify ne say oye sofo because onye sofo na wokọ asore dan ne mu koya dwuma ubewu. The work in the sanctuary was dedicated to only the priest. And he said, "Onya sofu erade mpoka kire Moses won kanche Israel for ne say, obi biara minyi wo say wo ye sofu onye Aaron asene. Na obekọ asore dem ho no mo akodi dwuma bia wo ho bia ubewu." Adia ebema wadan so am ye hunu se amanyame ye hunu se wo qualify so be ye dwuma wa sore dem ho eye wa sofo tade. The moment I will be say asofo tade no ema osoro recognize you. Enti enya nwanwa se emire bibra David ekọ komba na obedu fie na enkrofo besi na chi abato ahye kroni so di woja atum afa kroni mu ma ne mofra nyina adi adwane. Bible said na David eka kire Abiata say fa asofo tade no ebreme. David katre Abiata say for asofotade no ebrene. Edie benti na David ekoje asofotade sheye ansa na okonyame anim so that he could be identified by God as priest. The book of 1 Peter catch and say, "Ye omai asofukuo na erade de osoro atade e de ahyeye. The garment of righteousness erade de ahyeye." Enu ntina ma yetumi di nam ye kwa Awurade animu be Awurade mpaye enam otene mi atade onam Yesu so de ahyeye ntino yanso ya beye asafukuo ana asofukuo senke kanenu anka wonse asofotade mo kola wo bompaye Awurade ntie nanso nsiranka Awurade nyankopon se wonam ne doba Yesu Kristo so ayeye nyina ahemani mu asofo ana ode Yesu Kristo moja ato ye ho na ode tenene atade ahyeye enti ebre bia ye hye asofo tade ayetimi dina nyame ani enye wo de nti wanka amen. So verse 12. Leviticus chapter 6 verse 12. Meanwhile, the fire on the altar must be kept burning. It must never go out. Each morning, the priest will add fresh wood to the fire and arrange the burnt offering on it. He will then burn the fat of the peace offerings on it. Remember, the fire must be kept burning on the altar at all times. It must never go out. Verse 14. These are the instructions regarding the grain offering. The first one was burnt offering. Now this is for the grain offering. Aaron's sons must present this offering to the Lord in front of the altar. The priest on duty will take from the grain offering a handful of the choice flour moistened with olive oil, together with all the frankincense. He will burn this representative portion on the altar as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Aaron and his sons may eat the rest of the flour, but it must be baked without yeast and eaten in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle. Remember, it must be prepared with yeast. It must never be prepared with yeast. I have given it to the priest as their share of the special gifts presented to me. Like the sin offering and the guilt offering, it is most holy. Any of Aaron's male descendants may eat from the special gift presented to the Lord. This is their permanent right from generation to generation. Anyone or anything that touches these offerings will become holy. Verse 19. Leviticus chapter 6, verse 19. Then the Lord said to Moses, on the day Aaron and his sons are anointed, they must present to the Lord the standard grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour. Half to be offered in the morning and half to be offered in the evening. It must be carefully mixed with olive oil and cooked on a griddle. Then slice this grain offering and present it as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. In each generation, the high priest who succeeds Aaron must prepare this same offering. It belongs to the Lord and must be burnt up completely. This is a permanent law. All such grains of a priest must be burnt up entirely. None of it may be eaten. Verse 24. Then the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the sin offering. The animal given as an offering for sin is a most holy offering, and it must be slaughtered in the Lord's presence at the place where the burnt offerings are slaughtered. The priest who offered the sacrifice as a sin offering must eat his portion in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle. Anyone or anything that touches the sacrificial meat will become holy. If any of the sacrificial blood spatters on a person's clothing, the soiled garment must be washed in a sacred place. If a clay pot is used to boil the sacrificial meal, it must then be broken. If a bronze pot is used, it must be scoured and thoroughly rinsed with water. Any male from a priest's family may eat from this offering. It is most holy. But the offering for sin may not be eaten if its blood was brought into the tabernacle as an offering for purification in the holy place. It must be completely burned with fire. Enti wakyerɛ sɛ deɛ sin offering nso ɔmo ɛmɔ ne mfa. Ni aba Francisca owusu Francisca nyame wɔn kyerɛ so wadwon ne yɛn. Ma yenko Leviticus chapter 7. Leviticus chapter 7 from verse 1. Anymore nyame nhyira so afidie no da so da MOR radio. Ubetumi adjoin me ewo YouTube. Search for Samuel Agyenim. Ubekumi ewo YouTube ho. Na wa join ye. Leviticus chapter 7 from verse 1. These are the instructions for the guilt offering. It is most holy. The animal sacrificed as a guilt offering must be slaughtered at the place where the burnt offerings are slaughtered. And its blood must be splattered against all sides of the altar. The priest will then offer all its fat on the altar, including the fat of the broiled tail, the fat around the internal organs, the 2 kidneys and the fat around them near the loins, and the long loop of the liver. These are to be removed with the kidneys, and the priest will burn them on the altar as a special gift presented to the Lord. This is the guilt offering. Any male from priest's family may eat the meal. It must be eaten in a sacred place, for it is most holy. Same instructions apply to both the guilt offering and the sin offering. Both belong to the priest who uses them to purify someone, making that person right with the Lord. In the case of the burnt offering, the priest may keep the hide of the sacrificed animal. Any grain offering that has been baked in an oven, prepared in a pan, or cooked on a griddle belongs to the priest who presents it. All other grain offerings, whether made of dry flour or flour moistened with olive oil, are to be shared equally among all the priests, the descendants of Aaron. Also verse 11. Leviticus chapter 7 verse 11. These are the instructions regarding the different kinds of peace offerings that may be presented to the Lord. If you present your peace offering as an expression of thanksgiving, the usual animal sacrifice must be accompanied by various kinds of bread made without yeast, thin cakes mixed with olive oil, wafers spread with oil, and cakes made of choice flour mixed with olive oil. This peace offering of thanksgiving must also be accompanied by loaves of bread made with yeast. One of each kind of bread must be presented as a gift to the Lord. It will then belong to the priest who splattered the blood of the peace offering against the altar. The meat of the peace offering of thanksgiving must be eaten on the same day it is offered. None of it may be saved for the next morning. If you bring an offering to fulfill a vow or as a voluntary offering, the meat must be eaten on the same day the sacrifice is offered. But whatever is left over may be eaten on the second day. any meat left over until the third day must be completely burned up. If any of the meat from the peace offering is eaten on the third day, the person who presented it will not be accepted by the Lord. Enti ose se ode asmudwe afode bre urade na eye boshe bi ni aboade bi a ode bre urade a eja na wobebo afode no a wobetimi adi enam no ana se ade kye a wobetumi adi emum se edi nansa ne aka ni nyina no e wo se wo hye no memo wohunu sa ashede ne mra we nyina said be ya obe appreciate the sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross. If you are able to understand all these offerings, all the requirements and all the instructions, it will help you to appreciate the death of Jesus. Of the meat from the peace offering is eaten on the third day, the person who presented it will not be accepted by the Lord. You will receive no credit for offering it. By then, the meat will be contaminated. If you eat it, you will be punished for your sin. Verse 19. Meat that touches any ceremonially unclean may not be eaten. It must be completely burned up. The rest of the meat may be eaten, but only by people who are ceremonially clean. If you are ceremonially unclean and you eat meat from a peace offering that was presented to the Lord, you will be cut off from the community. Cut off means you will be killed, you will die. Enti sa wo ho ente na wo kodi sa asumdwe afode aduane ana enam ne bia ebekun ana obewu. Verse 21, Leviticus chapter 7 verse 21. If you touch anything that is unclean, whether it is human defilement or an unclean animal or any other unclean detestable thing, and then eat meat from a peace offering presented to the Lord, you will be cut off from the community. Verse 22. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. You must never eat fat. Let me repeat. You must never eat fat. Read my lips. Mame Francisca, what's your home? You must never eat fat. First, no, okoton and chinam. Yeah, now, crossing in and just radia and told so. Next time, Uncle to be the hobby. Okoton and chinam, or Doctor and chinam said then, now crossing in and just radia and found Tony Swa. Next time, Uncle Tony will be. Yes, the Rades say, "Oh, the man Israel for say almost shaking na almost misrade." I love pink salmon. I'm a fat from power. Francisca. So okay, first offer chance in koto banku. Mami bia no ye banku ni abetie bi o 18 mo no. Osan kwama no ansa ani no anwa no kakra musu a. Onye da. Ewade hu ye mobo. Yare anko. Eneya enipa ni bi eni afa ni ate say cholesterol. You say who did you say men person dey wo. You say enam kra wo chekro mpa wo mpesa wo di anwa be chi say wakwa fa dey mo friend say deep fryer ananya say na mo friend no. Na air fryer. They will be there. I'm wanting now. No, sending now. No, what to agu. And they will say, "Sir, yare." As first, no, anenwa. Ami ansa anwa ikakra munkoye ni amao. Asimbesi. Why you bro nyakoko nkwan pa na anwa amani. Asemesi. Yaziti Eradi asema okache onse. Ma enisrade ne srade ni nyina no nhye e wa aforibuchia ne so amenka hinta semba akontra so onim sasrade egugye a ema eja no ede ema eja ne so na be kaya Erade ka kire o mo se ma aforibuchia ne so ja no enum da entina srade no eye ade baako na ema eja no etimi koso ede enti de mo na ehye srade no ewo eja ne so no ama eja no nso gusu a edere a enum enti se Erade mankrofo yi disrade ya eja ne bedum Francisca was also enkwan ni nyefe. Awa yasemo. Sadi amani enkwan ni nyefe. Time kama mi bia no oton banku okona ho. Asada wo anwa no sinchen. Ye nkwan na ya no asanwa ne de egu nkwan ni. Na abetaye ni. Erade mo aye. Erade asedi a odema Israel for say you must never eat fat, whether from cattle, sheep or goats. The fat of an animal found dead or torn to pieces by wild animals must never be eaten, though it may be used for any other purpose. Anyone who eats fat from an animal presented as a special gift to the Lord will be cut off from the community. Men come a chica or sa can say one person pointing it out na ebwa. Verse 24. The fat of an animal found dead or torn to pieces by wild animals must never be eaten. So when him say mistake baako a Samson eye man na ho de free ne nsa edina sade we so. When him say radish shema Samson say onhwe ye na wan fanensa anka ade a eye unclean. Ena unclean no Erade e wo Leviticus no wa kire niema eye unclean say aboa wawu. Say a bra Samson call, I believe said Timina and a call ya na all back. Na on money call a mura no kohunu say Jata or no Samson no kun ne to ne train Jatano adore a war. Na Samson and I say abuano adore a war. Na Samson akoti a woni bi edi. One Samson shares as a washias. Ye di kind abuana we won a unclean into a new quine posse with the one sa a cano. And the radia saka say abua wo sradie and no suni quine say would ye. Na abua would ye no timid Doris radie. Sorry, Otimi Dory a war. So for some reason, Satan to me adequate abuana wawuno, ama abua wawuno to me adore a war. Ma Samson poyam ansh ne se mi hu bi da se abua adore a war. No wakotie ni. And no eka hu bi na Samson shas yes wash yas. Sana mi no mi enu na ye ji Yesu ade ye nanti Kristosumu ya bra ba koye. Nye mi radesha yen se yenye no enu na ye. Nye mi radesha ehun e wo fin eni kwa se ye de ye ho eka no enu na ye de ye ho ka. Enunti ama Satan so to me the niama samu edada ye. Wo hwe niama ye kondo, niama ye kra ehhehwe. Na Satan adecorate na ode abreye. Na ye de ye nsa koka na afa ye ho abafin Ewurade ayi ye firi ho. Pompa ye se radem wa na omie weni. What to me atwe ho afiniama entene nyina ho. Wa brabo afata Kristo. Verse 26. Leviticus chapter 7:26. No matter where you live, you must never consume the blood of any bird or animal. Enti ose aboa moja enso ni kwan se yedi. Baby na me ko hu oma kumpreko na omo de bucket esi ho na ko na obekum sa aboa no wo de bucket esi ho gi moja no adaya wo de moja no na konoa enam no mate se binom ye sa binom de moja na enoa enam menim so obi nso atisa asemi bi da or the moja no na konoa enam no or the moja no or the bucket si wo sheda the bucket free fia ba beji moja no kofie eno no de konoa nam no. Oh yes, Mama Francisca kaipa mahu bi me de mani ahu bi wo ko ba bi a omo kunkum emponche farms na ekota ponche no mu kunye maye wo hono mo no zadia make no be hu bi. Where you live, you must never consume the blood of any bird or animal. anyone who consumes blood will be cut off from the community. Na sa blood ya all kase yenni no. Ye ewa Leviticus say ya ne ye kenkan kwa ye bedu ho ntimi mpese me jump the gun. Ye behunu die nti a Awurade kase eni kwan say ye di aboa moja. Or say the life of every creature is in the blood. The life of every creature is in the blood. Say abua biana abodie biane kra anane nkwano ewo mojanim. Enti se odi moja no a ekire se aboa no kra ena wadie. Nunti na masa ye communion na se ye num Yesu moja ye gidi se Yesu Kristo no ababetena ye mu no efiri se abodie ne kra ana abodie ne nkwa ewo moja ni mu. Mesme mbese me jump the gun to the mama fence so a do have my be hu. No be boam what ya said in John chapter 6. Yesu eka kire won said de wa ni me honam na wa no mi moja no onye me de ya no. Die ntie ma on my money nyina bu free na Yesu asuafo no bi kurampo esa won achi free Yesu ho say Yesu akabu so sem. Say omo ye jiwfo a omo nimu se emrada ho say eni kwan se ye di aboa moja. Ni se na wo Yesu wa bana so se de wa nom umoja no oni enkwa de a ene na ne wo ka no ene ye nso ye de no enko. That was the reason why Yankofoni Bufu say yes to a cabusu sem. Some Becca say Yeni Nipebian ni moja. If you say Nemrana cat to Hono say Obi Biara and found baby a uti biara yen where ni abua moja. And to the Mayan to us you do sell Leviticus on my free chapter 20 air corner masima making. The life of every creature is in the blood. Until no say a mini kwansi will be the aboa moja. Yansha verse 28. Breno asunti hametumrika. Leviticus chapter 7 from verse 28 and you could see verse 38 now. Let's run through quick. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. When you present a peace offering to the Lord, bring part of it as a gift to the Lord. Present it to the Lord with your own hands as a special gift to the Lord. Bring the fat of the animal together with the breast, and lift up the breast as a special offering to the Lord. Then the priest will burn the fat on the altar, but the breast will belong to the Lord and his descendants. Give the right tithe of your peace offering to the priest as a gift. Enti abuano ne sre na eye ne sre nifa no o se fama osofopanino na sofopanino emfa enkoye kohwe ne how far. The right tithe must always be given to the priest, who offers the blood and the fat of the peace offering. For I have reserved the breast of the special offering and the right tithe of the sacred offering for the priest. It is the permanent right of Aaron and his descendants to share in the peace offering brought by the people of Israel. This is their rightful share. The special gift presented to the Lord have been reserved for Aaron and his descendants from the time they were set apart to serve the Lord as priests. On the day they were anointed, the Lord commanded commanded the Israelites to give these portions to the priests as their permanent share from generation to generation. These are the instructions for the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering, as well as the ordination offering and the peace offering. The Lord gave these instructions to Moses on Mount Sinai when he commanded the Israelites to present their offerings to the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai. Amen. This brings us to the end of Leviticus chapter 7. Chapter 8. Akenkansem Bible reading. Na efiada ne kwasiada a moment of restoration eno ye anajo a ye bompa ye yimpa ye wesampa ye tafrempa ye homempa ye hniampa ye anumre dia me de wo esi hana me kai wo say 14 days revival and say prayers and fasting ya hyase the original first fruits, fasting and prayers. And no ye nyina ye hiem with the original Zoom ne so and na ye besen hia original level. Somebody in a journey yen e original Zoom ne so. Ye mompa ye yensum erade so. Erade enkaye. May the Lord remember us. Year 2022, may the remembrance of God sin in your life. Depending on who knows ani erade akai maami asumesi. Any about Vidash Ajiwa, Mammy Vida Yami won Shra, Sana Mekua Ochre, and one Shra won so. Francisca also say, Pastor, God bless you so much. God bless you too, my sister. Mama Esther was say, God bless you, Pastor. God bless you, Mama. Mama Esther say, God bless you more and more. God bless you too. Celia Fache, God bless you. And you may Mammy Benedict and Timian Johnny Omanya power outage. And Ras Nuka Crane 20 Virginia for Massachusetts in Kosher. 36 inches Crampuna Kanias is so gone. Virginia 5 inches, 6 inches in Mokania Dundum. Virginia for up your game. I'm a good God bless you. Mammy Janet in Buatin, St. John A. Yamishra, Fia Dominus, Yamishra, Janet Kakari, Yamishra Wonso. Oh, Macama. I'm going to Massachusetts in country. 25 inches, now Colenda Mu Co School. Virginia 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. There's a cold red day, cold gold day, cold orange day, cold green day, light traffic lights. Mammy Benedict, one more power out. If you went to me and about for YouTube, and then went to me. It is an infidel in Edwin. Benedict among for a while. I always see Mupania said him Kania. We are doing home. And you remedy will AC. So they can't wait me out on YouTube. I was searching for Samuel Agyenim. No one like it page, no one subscribe. To me, Abua. Promo to Yanko Poma Juma. You may shall so do a feed to a more than any said media way. I wish no one to maintain us for some other Agyenim more than Macra. I'm going to say the brother Shalom, peace be unto you. God bless you and stay blessed.